not really paying attention, I pasted something in from Illustrator, and then I also placed it in again. So I have two of them. And I saved it, but when I opened it here just to kind of look at it just now, the one that's placed from Illustrator is all grainy and chunky and looks gross. And the one that I pasted in, copy paste, that one is fine.
Okay.
So I don't know.
And okay, so I love questions right off the bat. Okay, so hi everybody. Today, what? Hello.
Hello.
September 16th. Yes. Yes?
Yes.
Tuesday. I will start by saying I heard your whole question. I won't forget it. But I want to repeat it so it's recorded because it was a very good question. And I launched InDesign, so maybe I can demo it. Some people might not have this information. Okay, I want to start by saying we're meeting today, and I will tell you today's agenda soon. We will not meet face-to-face next week, but we will resume the following week. And I should pause my video. That's in case somebody wants to come and, can't repeat it here because I'm being recorded now. Okay, so your question, Kim's question was, she created a document in InDesign. And for those of you who aren't familiar with InDesign very well, anyway, I had an intern come to my studio who didn't know anything about InDesign a couple years ago. And interns are not an easy thing because usually you spend most of your time just teaching them what I end up doing in here instead of getting something productive for me out of it. And so I started her off on InDesign, and she came by to see me the other day, and she said, I remember everything. I use it constantly. She's in architecture graduate school right now. She says, I use it constantly. I use InDesign constantly. She says, I hear your voice. Don't paste, place. She says, I forget all the things she repeated, but she sounded like a broken record, so I must have been a broken record, which was when you place artwork in InDesign, you place it, which, as Kim said, creates a link to the artwork. So when you're in InDesign and you want to put art in it, you go to File, Place. I know this might be simple for most of you. You locate your graphic. If you're doing print, actually we probably talked about this last week because I can see it right here. If you're doing print, you will not use a JPEG image. Generally, JPEG images are what you download off the internet. They're compressed, and they're usually RGB. You won't be able to see the difference in your InDesign document, but my job is to make you proficient graphic designers that have successful print ability. Okay, that's my goal. So for offset printing, I know you're going to get to web. Okay. So for successful offset printing, I suggest that you always take your JPEG image, always open it and convert it to process color if you're doing full color, and save it as a PSD file, which stands for Photoshop document. Adobe products love Adobe products. So if you want to place an Illustrator file or a Photoshop file, you should place it as its native file. Because then, when you have it placed, I'm opening up, I didn't want to do that. I forgot I was in place. If I go to File, Open, and I locate Vilda's die line for her menu, remember when we created that? And here's our page 1 for the cover that we created last week. We have our graphic placed. And so if I go to printing and proofing, let's go to that kind of workspace right here in the upper right corner. You'll notice that I should have a links folder, and I don't, which surprises me. So let me reset printing and proofing and see. No, it doesn't show up. So if I go to Window, Links, here, I end up creating my own workspace, and I end up saving it. Is everybody familiar with how to do that? Anybody not familiar? Do you want to know? Okay, it's real quick. It's a quickie. So we can afford this moment. Okay, so if you are What was I doing?
Creating a workspace or links.
Creating a workspace, okay. If I want a new workspace, so for example, I might go to advanced, which actually I like. I would start with advanced because it has pages, it has layers, it has links, it has swatches and strokes, it has special effects. I don't use object style sheets very much, actually ever. I always use paragraph styles and character styles, which I'd like to demo today. Who's not familiar with style sheets? I asked this last time. Raise your hands really high so I know what the majority of you has. Okay. We'll save that to the end so you can be familiar with it. Yes, John?
You will want to use object style sheets when it comes time to export for interactive.
Yes. Yes. So did you do that interactive video? Is that
I think so.
part of it? Anyway, so just to get back to your workspace. So for example, this has everything I like. It doesn't have one of my favorites, which is two tools that I always use, which is Object Layout Align, which should show up right now, and it's not. Object Layout Align, oh, there it is, right in the middle. And Pathfinder, I use those all the time. So I'm just gonna drag them over to my panels on the right corner, and it snaps up there and rests up there. And if I wish to save this workspace as my special workspace, I also don't like my toolbox in, is everybody so hot? I'm watching everybody try to cool down. I like my toolbox in 2 columns. I like my default for my documents to not have a black stroke there, so I would turn that off. Actually, I'm not going to save this. I'll show you why. I'm not going to save this either. Generally, the default is to have a black stroke when you set up your documents. I like my default to not be a black stroke. You can't change your default for InDesign if there's a document open. It'll only change the default for that document. Does that make sense? So with no documents open, now I can set up my workspace, which looks pretty good. And all I have to do is go to the upper right corner. I'm going to create a new workspace. I'll call it Victoria, and I'll call it 09-2014, which would be the date. And there we go. And now if I go to a different workspace like digital publishing, which would be what you'd use for interactivity, I can just come back and locate my workspace at the top, and it gives me my panels where I like them. So I like using that. And then what I was going to say to get back to Kim's question, so I don't forget it, is I can go to Open Recent, and here's Vilde's die line. Here's our artwork. If we go to the Pages panel right here, there's the sushi graphic we placed. If we go to our Links panel, we'll see there's no yellow warning sign. A yellow warning sign would mean it's modified, or a red stop sign would mean it's missing. And we could update it. So you have a happy link. You packaged your artwork. It knows where to find the graphic.
No, the link is missing.
You have a red stop sign for the one that you place.
I have a red question mark stop sign.
Okay.
Maybe so.
Okay.
Whatever.
So if you look here, and I run my cursor over this, you can see what happens here. If I run my cursor over this graphic, it tells me the path to my artwork. That's like when you go to a website and you have a little blue box question mark that some graphic's missing. Everybody's familiar with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, same thing here. If I go to my desktop, which is where this is sitting, and I take this and I make a new desktop folder. Let's see, I'm in Finder. I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call the folder Today's Date. And then I take this graphic that is linked, both of these graphics. I'm highlighting them, I'm moving them to this folder. Look what happens to this artwork. This is what Kim's talking about. It shows a question mark and a red stop sign, which means the link is missing, which means that you're going to get, if you try and print it with a missing link, a low resolution rasterized image of this graphic. It's going to go from memory of what's there. It's not going to look good. So we can do 2 things. I mean, the easiest thing is to locate our link. We know where we put it. We go to the link symbol. We're going to find this date where I put it. We're going to locate the link, which tells me the name at the top of this dialog box right there. It's the PSD file I want. I click Open, and I no longer have my red stop sign. So what happened, I assume, is that you didn't package it and you worked on it on your computer at home, and the link is happily sitting on your computer at home. So when you take your file back home, you can relink it and you'll be fine. Okay?
Do you know why I don't know, maybe it's because it's a vector that the part that I pasted in looks pretty good.
Actually, that's a dangerous question for me. I have to tell you my bias. Because I hate saying this because now I'm feeling so old. Because I started with Adobe before it had a number to a version, it was actually called Adobe 88, I think I started with. And then it was just called Adobe because I started using Adobe software in 1990. And I remain a purist about the software. InDesign is for placing type and placing graphics, and it does wonderful things with them. It has wonderful special effects, but if you want to do special effects sometimes, like a drop shadow on a complex item or special artwork or something, do it in the software you created your artwork in. In other words, if I have a photo of my purse and I'm making a catalog and I want it to look like it's sitting on a desk and I want a little cast shadow, I do all of that in Photoshop, and then I place the Photoshop graphic in InDesign. And the same thing for vector graphics. If I have a vector graphic, like an Illustrator file, the interesting part about vector graphics is InDesign really overlaps all kinds of universes. The more sophisticated each Adobe software gets, the more it does things. Like you can use vector in Photoshop and you can use photos in Illustrator and all that. So my purist says keep your vector graphics into Illustrator, keep your raster images into Photoshop, place them all in InDesign, and let InDesign be the container for your artwork. But the reality is if I draw a circle right now, like that, and it's got a black stroke, and I fill it with pink, let's fill it with pink, it's a vector graphic. It is. It's a circle with 4 vector points. And so, yes, you have now embedded a vector graphic into InDesign. So for example, today where you have a missing vector link that you embedded into InDesign, you could go grab your vector link into InDesign, cut it out, select all, cut it out, open Illustrator, paste it in Illustrator, and now you've got your vector graphic in Illustrator to place back into InDesign. So that's the difference between embedding a graphic and not.
There is one instance where you copy and paste from Illustrator into InDesign because there are features in InDesign regarding color that Illustrator doesn't have yet. That's really the only time you would do it. I made a little video about it.
And you're talking about which colors, which issues?
You know, I forget what they call it, but it's the feature where you can make like hundreds of colors.
Oh.
In
John's
InDesign. You cannot
no, you can't do that.
You can't do that in Illustrator, but if you take your artwork and copy paste from Illustrator into InDesign,
Yes.
you then have that feature basically in Illustrator because you can send it back and those features will go with it.
Yeah, John's talking about creating mixed ink swatches in InDesign,
That's what it is.
which is
Yeah.
lots of fun to do. Okay.
If you place a graphic from Illustrator and try to do that, of course you can't work on it then because it's fixed.
Right. Okay, so are there any burning questions about anything for anybody for the moment? No? Okay. I have graded all of your lynda.com restaurant menus. If you haven't done it, I wrote you a note which says, let me know when you will do it, because you have 1 week grace period to submit it late and lose points, and then the window closes. Those of you who did it for the first time and who weren't very familiar with InDesign, was it useful for you? Yes, learned a lot. took like not 3 hours, but like 7 when you slowed it down. Did it take at least?
Took longer.
So you did it really longer. Did you do it longer? It took you
It
longer
took me
too.
like 8.5 hours. My wife like no longer wants to eat at a restaurant because she's like, I just never want to see a menu again. ever."
Exactly, exactly. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
It's true. Well, it's very valuable. And these aren't designed for busy work. That's not the intention at all. The intention is for you to move through it. So even if you know InDesign, which I know you know InDesign very well, you slow it down because you want to get it right. You want to do it right. So stay on target. Because this class is a hybrid, how many of you have had a hybrid class before? Okay, you have. Which class was it? Was it a design class? Okay. Because it's a hybrid class, coming to class is like a touchstone, right? It's what should ground us. You guys are all cooling me off looking at you with your fans. It's like a touchstone to ground us and ask questions, but most of your work is going to be done independently. And so, especially since we will not meet next week, you have a lot going on. I've created this Staying on Schedule. How many of you referred to this and found it valuable? Okay. I keep adding to it, like last week's video sits there, and I keep trying to update it for you so you can get your hands on the videos, okay? I also use this so you can kind of see what's coming up and what's in front of you. So you've already done the menu. Now you're going to work on a magazine layout, which is going to have a lot of detail work for you. And it's for you to get comfortable in InDesign and feel confident with it. So what I'd like to do today, is discuss interactivity. Who is completely unfamiliar with interactivity in InDesign? Raise your hands really high. I don't see the low hands. Okay, all right. We'll talk about interactivity. I would like to talk about style sheets, but I'd really like to start with how we did last week, which is for the people who didn't get to share their menu last week to come up here and share the progress on their menu. Because where we're at here, if we take a look, you'll of course have your articles that you'll be reading. You'll be working on the magazine layout so you get more and more comfortable with InDesign and two-page spreads. And then what you end up doing is you end up taking an interactive, you take a magazine page and then you add interactivity to it. It's very simple interactivity. And I'm not going to worry about your restaurant menus for being interactive yet because we'll be back together when that starts to show up. But notice that come this date here, the 22nd and the 28th, you're uploading your final design for class that we're going to critique the following week, the week we meet, which will be the 30th, okay? So basically, when you come back to class, your restaurant menu should be uploaded as a digital file, and we should be able to critique it, okay? There's another meeting, and I stumble over this because I don't have the flow of this class yet, like you. But I prefer, personally, that when we meet on the 30th, all of you come in with a printed menu, okay? And if you don't know how to get to that place with a printed menu, then keep posting Q&A questions online. And if you post them on the Q&A, they're not just for John and I. They are for anybody. So if you've got an answer to it or you have a question, post it there so somebody else can answer it too, okay? If you wish to set up a Skype appointment with John or I, will you Skype with students?
I can Skype, yeah.
Okay,
Although I prefer to use TeamViewer.
okay,
'Cause
all
you
right,
can share desktops.
okay. John has an application called TeamViewer, but I can Skype with you. I won't have a computer to share my desktop when I'm away, but I want to make sure that everybody has the questions answered that they need. And then when you bring your menu here, I encourage everybody that after we critique something, you take it back and you improve it, and then you do another one. Because when we get to your final that we think is beautiful, then you're going to photograph your menu for a portfolio. You're going to make it look professional. You might style it. Crystal was in the film industry, right? Crystal Lee was in the film industry. So she could talk about styling for a photo shoot, right?
Well, I'm not a photographer,
But you know, she used to do makeup. So in other words, who's to say that you can't create some meal and some seamless backdrop or set up a place setting in some environment that you think is cool and photograph it? And your iPhones work great. It's just about lighting and it's about creating the right style. And if you do it now when you beautifully finish your menu and trim it out and so forth, then you'll have it. You'll have it for your portfolio, you'll have it for a website, you'll have it set up for what you need.
Regarding using Skype or TeamViewer, if you have an issue, if you're having a particular problem, the best thing you can do is create a video, a screencast, using Screencast-O-Matic, the same thing we're recording these lectures with. We've had some good success this summer with students, remote students, who screencast their problems, and you could see right away what was going on.
There's, John will post a link from Media Design, the midterm link that has Screencast-O-Matic and Jing and,
Screencast-O-Matic is probably the easiest.
okay. We use a software that's free to create these videos. You can create a 5-minute video using your desktop just by downloading this software. And if you have a question and you're like, oh, I'm struggling with this, you could video yourself talking on your computer showing us your screen. And you can post it to the Q&A. The files won't get that big. And that's a really good way to help. Okay? Has anybody try that before? You guys are all so hot. What we really need is a big pitcher of lemonade. If I was really smart, I would have come to class with that.
That would have been foresight.
Does everybody have something to drink? You guys all look like you're dying.
We're building.
You're melting. Is there any way to amp up the air? Could we ask them?
Probably not. You want me to see?
Would you? Why? Please.
I have a question.
Okay.
Too.
Think about icebergs, ice cream, refrigerators.
My question is about this kind of schedule thing. I didn't upload my forum post in time because I wasn't.
It didn't close you out, did it?
No, I did. I got it, but it was past the due date because I didn't understand that it was due. I couldn't see it on there where it was, and I didn't see the form until some other people had posted and
It
then
was
it
in it.
came up.
Okay, so what Crystal Lee is asking about, and I saw you all post, and fan away, you guys. Who brought this up here, which is beautiful?
Oh, that's mine. John did it. He printed it
He
out.
printed it for you?
Yeah.
That was nice of
I
him.
know.
Thank you for my fan. Okay. So we had trouble with our forums. There are forums and there are advanced forums, which is interesting. So here's a forum, which is a format that most of you are accustomed to. And then I tried a new Moodle thing, which is an advanced forum, which got you all flustered, or at least everybody in my portfolio class. And an advanced forum works more like a Facebook kind of thing, where you don't make your own post. You don't make your own post, you just respond here. So if we go to this forum, which is an advanced forum, what we have down below here is a way to hit reply. It's this tiny little thing in the corner. Let's talk about bad design, right? It's not where we would look, certainly not where I would look. And you reply, and each of you replies to one another. So you can post, you're just a string of it. And the reason why I thought that advanced forums might be better is twofold. One is I thought you can't miss each other's posts by going in and out of them, which I think if you go in and out of a post, meaning you have to click, read, go back out, click a new one, read.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't have patience. I feel like I don't have patience for it. If I don't have patience for it, you guys might not. So it takes a lot of effort on my part. I have to recreate these forums. If you like advanced forums better, which is why I'm kind of taking a vote here, because it's like resetting up our web pages. But if you prefer the advanced form where you just see everybody's string, I feel like you stay on the same topic and you just flow. So to me, I feel like that's more advantageous. But I would love to hear your thoughts about it, because if you don't like it, then I don't have to do anything. And if you do like it, I have to do a lot of stuff.
Is there any way to make it, I think that's a great idea, but is there any way to make it appear like in our assignments due for the week or something, so that we know when we have to do a forum
The due
post, so we
date.
make it in time?
What you have to assume is that every assignment has a forum, except for your reading material, I believe.
Okay,
So every assignment that is relevant to graphics,
Yeah.
There's a forum for it. That's pretty much what you need to know. That's the
so
format.
each new step, like the
Each new
logos,
step,
the-
each new step, look for a forum. And if you don't have a new form that says new step, then go back to the old one and go, I did a new step.
Okay.
Here it is. Because I think this class is very much about sharing of ideas, very much so. Because you cannot work in a vacuum. And I cannot, you already know your skill levels vary all over the map here. What'd you learn?
No,
No.
but if we open this door, it might increase the circulation. I'm not sure it would set
I don't know
off
what
the
it
alarm.
goes to, and it will
Oh,
set
it
off
goes
the
out to
alarm.
there's a courtyard out there.
Is that the auto quad?
Yeah, it might actually make it hotter.
It'll make it hotter. That's an oven cooker.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? I'll give us a break. Actually, I'll give us a break. So everybody can, does everybody have something cold to drink? Does anybody not have something cold to drink? Everybody's equipped.
She's not.
Okay.
I'm prepared.
So you know what I'm going to do? We'll have a little break. We'll get a cold water break so we don't all.
This is much better than my house, though.
Is
so
it? Okay.
I'm
I just feel bad for everybody. And usually they freeze us out. In the winter, they freeze us out, and now they don't, right? Okay, so share everything on the forum and help one another, okay? All right. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to take a 10-minute break. So at 1:45, we're going to resume, and I'm going to call your name if you haven't shared from last week. And we're going to get up here and share where we're at on the menus, and then we'll stop. But what I'd like you all to do is get something cold to drink, okay? How's that? So you're all calmer, cooler, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to pause. Actually, I don't even know. Oh, by her own free will, Heidi is allowing herself to be recorded. And I'm going to close all these windows, and you access whatever it is you need, okay? You just got to speak loud enough for me.
Well, so what I chose to do was like a bakery, cafe, restaurant type, and pretty much the idea, like what I was thinking of was like Crush Cupcakes, like in Santa Barbara, where they have like a cupcake place, but it's also like a restaurant, like dine and sit in. But what I wanted to go with, like something like a really cute, like fun type of restaurant, like playful. So I guess for my physical menu that I came up with was to do like this like 3D cupcake kind of.
Oh, that's so good to see.
This is like what I was thinking. So yeah, like something like a 3D, and then I guess like the insides it'd be written down like what's on the menu, and then you can like open it and fold it, I guess.
So have you laid out your pages, and is it going to be multicolored like that, or is that all the paper you had?
I mean, yeah, I was thinking of going like something like colorful, like I guess like pastel colors or something.
Do you have your restaurant, your research and typefaces and logo roughs and stuff like that? Does your menu have a name? Does your restaurant have a name?
Well, I mean, I just made it up, so it's just like Sweet Sugar or something.
Sweet Sugar is the name of your restaurant. Okay. And so do you have your research? Did you upload that? Do you want to share that with us?
I mean, like I was gonna like revise it. So
You're gonna
there's-
revise it.
Yeah.
Okay, so ask Heidi some questions about a restaurant so you can get a picture of what she's thinking. How's that? So Christina, do you have some thoughts that you want to know about her restaurant, what it's going to look like? Help
What kind
her,
of
help her
style?
think it through.
What kind of style are you choosing?
What kind of style?
Like a theme? Is that what- just like something, just like fun or playful kind of thing.
Playful.
Yeah.
So playful. So while you think about playful, can you help Heidi make suggestions of what would appear playful, what would communicate playful? Have you given that any thought?
Still working on it.
You're still working on it. So crush cakes, can you pull crush cakes up on the computer? So are you modeling it after crush cakes?
No, I just like how like
Go ahead and pull them up while you're talking. Uh-huh. You like what?
I mean I just like how like they basically it's like a cupcake place, but then it's also like a restaurant kind of like cafe place.
So click on images, maybe, there you go.
Or
And do you think
images.
of crush cakes as being playful?
I mean like the cupcakes like it could be playful.
The cupcakes are playful. Yeah, their type of cupcakes are playful. And what else would be a playful restaurant? Is it for adult playful? Or is it kid playful?
I think it's like a variety of ages. I mean, adults to kids could probably go in. I guess I was thinking like more like kids, the teens, families maybe like would enjoy it or something.
Okay, so you said it's not just cupcakes, so what would be on your menu?
Probably like breakfast or lunch. It's kind of like what they have. It's like,
Can you pull up the menu? Actually, how many people have seen crush cakes? Yeah, their environments aren't very playful, right? They're pretty straightforward, kind of simple, but their marketing is super playful. Who lives in Carpinteria? Anybody see the sign that sits out in front of Crush Cakes in Carpinteria? They have some wrought iron welded sign that's really quite beautiful. They have, do they have clothing under their menu? Can you find a link to clothing? Maybe at the top of the menu, like the website menu, like products or, no, we don't have it, I can't read that far away. They make t-shirts, they make Crush Cakes t-shirts, like the Republic of Crush Cakes, and they had a skeleton, like the Day of the Dead, skeleton head t-shirt, where the nose was a cupcake and the eyes were.
The sugar skull.
It's called a sugar skull?
Yeah, cause skeletons, it's like they make them out of candy and they're sugar skulls.
Okay, well, it was
It's that
darling.
style.
It was a t-shirt. It was adorable. I actually sent one to my daughter and she thought I was off my rocker. She thought I was crazy. But it was fun. It was loving. It had peace symbols and hearts all over it. Is that what they look like?
Yeah.
Sugar skulls?
Yeah.
So if you Google sugar skull. And images. Oh, I see. Yeah. Very similar. I didn't know that term.
It's like a Dia de los Muertos. You can see the second one there, candy.
Yeah,
They make the elaborate, like up just a little bit. Yeah, that one.
they make them out of candy.
Really elaborate.
Oh, they're beautiful. Look at that. Oh, I've never seen that. Well, so they had a drawing. They had a T-shirt. It was black and white, and it was fun. And so when you talk about an environment, Heidi, that's playful, I wonder how you're going to carry that playfulness out, because what makes something playful to you? You're putting in a big order. You've made a playful menu. That yours is a cupcake, and it reminds us of like ornamentation. So, what I suggest you do, since you're having a struggle kind of visualizing this, or are you having a struggle visualizing it? Little. I start gathering images of things that make you feel playful, like restaurants, things in them that are playful. Does anybody have a restaurant experience that they could send us to a website that feels playful?
All I can think of is Willy Wonka, the movie, but that's not really a restaurant. But it's still.
Yeah, that's pretty playful, right? So start gathering images of things that are playful, and it doesn't have to be a restaurant. It could be a playground. It could be a toy menagerie. It could be, start doing word associations of experiences that feel playful for you. You know, just today I saw a sculpture from Germany where it's a floating sculpture of a woman whose knees are sticking up out of the water. Have you been to Germany? And a head sticking up out of the water. It looks like she's bathing in the lake, but it looks like she's a giant. I'll have to pull, yeah, did you see that? And it's just super cool. I've also seen an artist who creates miniatures that creates that same illusion, where the miniature, it's a miniature community, and then they put giants in it that look photorealistic, doing things that are, I don't want to say sensational, but fantastic. So,
You know, I thought of one restaurant. It's the, I don't know what it's called, but if you type in Japanese Alice in Wonderland restaurant, I remember seeing this a few years ago. It's amazing. Like, way over the top, but super playful.
which, oh, in the upper left corner.
Yeah, any of them. It's like the restaurant is sectioned into different themes.
Oh, wow. Looks like Fry's. Right? Doesn't Fry's do that theme thing?
A little bit.
So, Heidi, now that you've created this complex menu here, do you know how to do that and publish it that way?
I mean, I was thinking it's like, couldn't like I print like each and then somehow connect them.
Yeah. So, can I make a suggestion to help you? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've never made anything like this. This is pretty wonderful, right? So okay, so here's a few thoughts, okay? So a few thoughts would be, will I break it?
That's fine.
We hope not. No, it's not fine. Okay, here, that's better. This one's already there. So what I look at here is basically she's got one page shaped like that and another page shaped like that, and they're die cut because all the pages are the same shape, right? And how she built it was she glued it all together and then created a center to glue them. And to be a practical menu, one that would have a lifespan, right?
Mhm.
Even after I touch it, right? I think the way to do this isn't hard. I think truly a way to do this is basically to make a menu that's spiral bound. And if you make a menu that's spiral bound and your pages look like this, what happens is when it's put on all the weight of the menu, all pages would have the same weight, right? So there wouldn't be like a heavier cover weight. All pages would have the same weight. And then when it sat on the table, it would be up to the person serving to set it up like, for lack of a better term, the cupcake or flower or whatever you want to call it. But the spiral would allow the pages to, open up like this. That's one way to do it. Another way would be basically, and this would be harder, you guys don't remember something called Rolodex cards.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for saying, oh yeah, that was nice. Okay, can you Google Rolodex cards, please? So, R-O-L-O, Rolo, and then D-E-X, and then cards, and then go to images. and then go to like that thing. Yep, there you go. So a Rolodex card is basically something that has a bracket that the card snaps onto, and there's a center core to it. So if I were to turn this on its side, it's something that could twirl, and these are attached in here. And if you're twirling it and it has a base for it, kind of like your paper towel holders have a base and they have a post in the center, right? You all know what I'm describing. That's not foreign to you. And you had a bracket that the card would attach to, so each menu page, you'd snap them in and snap them out, and it would be a twirly thing. But that sounds complicated, right? Yeah, it sounds way complicated. So I think the way to do this basically is just take this as your pages here, and each page is part of your menu item. And then you can consider, you know, I know you probably did this because this is a construction paper you had at home, but you could consider color coding each segment. Like you color code the cupcake section and you color code the sandwich section and the salad section, or something like that. Or different things to consider. So that's probably the best way to build it. It wouldn't be so complex, but would be interesting. And then you set it up in a die line just like Vilda would her circle. Same thing. It's just die cutting this shape. Does that help you?
Yeah.
When you make any menu, always consider how you're binding it. Very critical. How you bind it will determine what your margins need to be. When you spiral bind something, I don't want to play with that too much. Can I use your calendar?
Oh.
When you spiral bind something, your spiral takes a big bite out of things. So you don't want crossover graphics as a 2-page spread, because unless you don't mind that a bite gets taken out of it, right? Also know that this becomes like dead space here. So if you have a margin that's, let's say, a 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch here, this is going to feel like a smaller margin because your spiral is taking a bite out of it. Does everybody get that? Okay. Which reminds me, if you do not know how to booklet in here, print booklet, so facing pages in InDesign, raise your hand. Okay. It should mostly be covered for you with magazine spreads when you do the magazine exercise. Have you done that yet? That will get you there. If you don't, when you set up your pages in InDesign, decide whether you have facing pages, which Heidi will have facing pages. She needs to think about what that looks like here, right? Then she needs to start sketching what it's going to look like on the back of a page. And you're going to set it up just like a book with your die line, just like we did Vilda's circle, right? Okay. That was good. You did good. Okay. Yes, you are done. Thank you. Okay, who wants to go next? You know I'm going to call on you, so you may as well just step up to it. Okay, Anna, that's fantastic. Come on up.
Is it recording?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
recording now already. So say, yes, I love being recorded.
I love being recorded.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I did mine on Garrett's restaurant, old-fashioned restaurant, and these are my thumbnails.
What's it called?
Garrett's old-fashioned
Garrett's
restaurant.
Old-Fashioned
It's
Restaurant.
on State Street. I forgot the other street though. And I'm thinking of making a booklet for it. I still haven't decided the
Can
colors.
you pull up Garrett's and see if it shows up?
Oh
there?
yeah,
That'd be great. So then we
there's
can
not a
look at
lot
what
of
you're talking
information.
about. Is there anything?
There's only, I don't know, let me see, Garrett's.
Probably just color pages.
I think I forgot. Oh, there it is. But
And can you pull up images? Maybe we get some images.
there aren't really many images of it. Oh, the food. There it is. It's just a breakfast and lunch place, but mostly breakfast. And it's located right there.
Is it still open?
It's right now, maybe not.
Maybe not.
But it is open. And it's basically, I see it as a family-based restaurant.
Uh-huh.
So it's open to everyone, I guess. And it's not fancy at all. So I think it's more of a home environment type of thing, which I really like because I don't eat breakfast at home most of the time. So going there, it's like, it feels like home. And I am putting everything in the menu I think there's pictures of it right here actually. Oh, there's only parts of it. No, not that one. But, let's see. That's part of the menu because I printed it out.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was in here's one of them too. But it's really tiny.
And do you plan on setting the menu up similarly, or do you?
No, I was thinking of making a book instead.
Uh-huh,
Because the menu, I've seen the menu, it's a little bit too long.
uh-huh.
Well, for me. But it's perfect for a diner, but I'm thinking of changing that.
So what size have you thought of?
I actually wrote it down here, like 8x8 and 8x6. Not too
Okay.
small, not too big. Or,
Right.
yeah, I think that's the size, actually. So basically almost like this size, but a little bit bigger.
And it wide or tall?
It's gonna be wide.
Wide.
So basically the menu's gonna read like this.
Uh-huh,
Or not like this.
okay, uh-huh.
And I'm including images in it.
And where are they coming from?
I'm thinking either pictures or illustration, but I think more pictures.
Photographs.
I prefer photographs, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
Did you pull together a color palette? Do you have a research paper on it?
put a lot of colors here, but I'm thinking of doing like brown and green.
Uh-huh,
It's similar to the let me see, where is it?
the building itself?
Yeah, the building itself, but I think this is the inside of it.
So that looks like a soda fountain, is that what it looks like?
Which one?
The one this photo looks like a soda fountain kind of look.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find another one. Oh, this is the side. It has red in it, but I don't want to include red in it. So just the green and probably brown.
Uh-huh,
I was, in my mind, I was thinking of having a hardcover,
uh-huh.
but that might be hard.
Actually, it's not hard,
No?
no.
Okay.
Interesting thing about menu design is there's companies that all they do is menu design. You've gone to restaurants and they have what feels like an upholstered menu, for lack of a better term. It's all padded, and then they have a little square cut out with some little plaque in the center with a logo. They all look alike because people order from a restaurant menu design company, and they're a specific price, and all they're really paying for is a little plaque that goes in the center. But you could look up bookbinding, and you could bind your own book. You're only making one.
Okay.
It's really not hard.
All right.
It's not. If that's what appeals to you,
Yeah.
not hard. The other thing you could do is buy a cheap used book
Mhm.
that you like the binding of and the size and the scale,
Right.
and you can use that and create guts for it.
Oh, okay. I'm also thinking of having a separate menu for the drinks,
Uh-huh.
just away from the book of the food and lunch. And I was actually thinking of making 2 books, one for breakfast, one for lunch, and then like a separate sheet for just the drinks.
Uh-huh.
So
Great.
3 things.
Well, great. Well, and in doing so, by creating those 3 elements, you've already created an entire brand, right? So that's terrific.
Yeah. Not sure what else to say.
Okay. Are there questions for Anna with her menu or thoughts? Sounds like you're going for straightforward.
Yeah.
And what you're looking into is maybe creating a book kind of binding for it. If you do a book binding, you might want to go to YouTube videos and just say, look up book binding
Right.
and decide whether you want stitched binding. There's also, you can, like our paper books, you are so resourceful. Let's see. I was looking at your thing, but this is just as good. You could actually take your book, you could spiral bind your menu depending on how many pages it is,
Right.
and you can create a false cover for it.
Mhm.
There's lots of books, have you seen them, that have a spiral binding and then they have a heavier weight cover
Oh, yeah.
that wraps around it? You could also create that
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
Or you can create one that this slips into one side of your cover and this slips into the other side of your cover where you've created a pocket for it. You follow that? And it's the same thing. You'd make your menu, which would be a standard size for the cover, the case, and then you create the case for it for your restaurant, and then this would slip into it. Like when you would make book covers as kids, right? With
Protect
paper
the cover.
bags. Yes,
Yeah.
right? With
I
paper
remember that.
bags. Book protective covers, yeah? Yeah?
Made out of cardboard.
No, never? Didn't you ever cover your books, your hardbound books, to protect them?
I did that.
No?
Oh, yeah.
No? Where are you from, Sweden? Norway. Norway, you don't protect your books? No? We see, because that's a common thing here, to protect your books. You get books from school, you take them home, and you protect your books at school. Yeah? Like a paper bag or something, right? See? It's universal. Of course it is. But that's great. Start, so next time you come, you know, what you're going to be doing in these 2 weeks' time is you're going to start to develop your menu. You're going to start to develop your artwork, post your artwork, ask for review of it. If you're uncertain about something, ask for help. If I haven't responded to a forum, email me, victoria@victoriatorf.com, and say, look at my post on the forum. Please tell me how I'm doing, okay? There's so many, when you teach online classes, there's so many hundreds of posts, you can't get to all of them, which is why we rely on each of you to respond to one another also. But if there's something that you're uncertain of, flag it and ask for it. But Google it first, okay? Google's got the answer for everything.
I actually had 3 little, one that opens like this, but I felt that uncomfortable.
Uh-huh.
And then similar to this, but without the spiral down, and then one with spiral.
Okay, so hold it right here. There. Exactly. Right. I think that's where the camera is, up there. That's great. That's great. Start making physical mock-ups of your books. You cannot lay out your digital pages without a physical book, trust me, or a physical menu. You have to start that way. Everything starts with something physical. You have lots of good layout ideas. One of the things you can't see from Anna's roughs, we'll put it on the video so you can all see it on the video, is Anna has beautiful mock-ups of different grid layouts. And you need to be very specific with your roughs about your grid layouts and the scale of it. Now take it to a physical size before you start building it. Good, you're off to a good start. That's great. Good job. Okay, who'd like to go next? Are you ready? Oh, Curtis. Curtis is ready. So you're going to download up from up there, Curtis? Go ahead.
I sent you an email that bounced. I think I returned to your Gmail.
I don't read my Gmail.
Yeah, but to Victoria Torf it bounced. So I forwarded it to Gmail so you can see it.
So Curtis, talk for the video. Say hello.
Hello.
It's cooling down in here, yes?
Yeah, it's better now.
Could be because I probably will. There's a fan on there.
Maybe. I think I feel air.
Something will.
So you opened this in InDesign? Did you package it?
No.
Do you know how to package in InDesign?
No.
No. Okay.
I haven't used InDesign too much. I kind of just started with it.
Okay, you're just starting. All right.
Alright, well, I kind of changed ideas. I was going to do an Italian restaurant, but I decided to do a sushi restaurant instead. But my idea kind of stayed the same. It's going to be on kind of like a yacht made into a really like a restaurant kind of. And you like really, like the deck of it is kind of where the, like you sit and all that, and like your stuff is like given to you and all that. And there's like, I guess there'd be like a bar kind of like towards like the center of it. That's where like the sushi bar would be. But pretty much, yeah, that's kind of it. And then it's gonna be, they don't really have, as far as I know, all you can eat around here. So I was gonna do that, and like where I'm from in Reno, like that's a pretty common thing, is like all you can eat sushi is like something you go do with your friends. So Yeah, pretty much do that. Basic layout of menu design of like the places that I like back at back at home. I did like research on places for like stuff to have on the menu, and then pretty much yeah, that's the format of the restaurant. And then as far as the menu, all this stuff doesn't. And then as far as the menu, a lot of these fonts still kind of go with what I was doing because I'm still gonna go with like kind of a ship theme. And then I was gonna do for the menu is gonna be kind of basic on the front, and like I personally like so you can see all of your sushi in one place. Like it makes it easier to like order if you see like everything on one like platform, and then you can just order and
So you want a one-page menu?
yeah, pretty much.
Uh-huh.
Because like it's hard to flip through like booklets and remember what you want to tell them or whatever. And so I was pretty much gonna do on one side would be like a menu. I'm not really sure how, or I mean I am kind of sure I wanted to put like a I wasn't sure if it was gonna be like a paradise, kind of like palm trees and stuff like that, kind of inspired, like little things next to the like the what's it called, like the appetizers and stuff like that. And yeah, on the back I was gonna do. I heard about this restaurant that does. They do like one-of-a-kind artwork on the Switch, like monthly or something like that, on the back of the menus. And so when you have the menu, you get to have it for the whole time, obviously for your sushi ordering. And then afterwards, there's like, I'm not sure how, maybe like weekly or daily or something like that, different art for on the back of every single menu that you get to kind of take home, and it's really unique to the place.
So you want to have the art change, so each menu is a take-home menu?
Yeah, pretty much. And on the back would be, it's pretty much like a canvas, like you'd hang up on your wall, and then you flip it over, and like kind of where like that blank area would be on the back of a canvas is where the menu kind of is.
Wow, okay. So hang on, don't do anything. So you see where it says this document contains a link to a source that's missing? In InDesign, so those of you who are new to InDesign, like Curtis, I'm just gonna repeat this. When you create artwork in InDesign, so I'm gonna click OK here. But as I add to this, I'm gonna interrupt you a second. When you create artwork in InDesign and it has multiple graphics, like the links here, you have to do something called packaging, which means that you take your InDesign document and you go here to File, you go to Package. It will only package if all of your links are linked, like we showed you how to link this morning, earlier. And then it says, and you have to save your file. It'll ask us, it'll ask you to save your file, and you click Package. If there's a problem, you'll see a yellow warning sign saying there's a link missing or a font missing. So, for example, Kim brought her artwork to this computer here, and her fonts and her graphics are on her computer at home. But this one, everything's here. We click Package. It gives us a page that says, here's our print instructions. And then you click Continue. And it takes the name of the file, and it puts that file in a folder. And it's going to take that file, put it in a brand new folder. Sorry for interrupting your momentum, but I want you to know this. And I click Package, and it's going to copy fonts, and it's going to copy graphics, and it's going to put all the links into one folder. And this is what I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to give this back to Curtis. But when we look at Curtis's menu, we're going to learn what's missing. And if you look right here on our desktop, and we click Desktop, you'll see we have a folder. It's called the date. It's got the date here. No. Where did I put it? I must have put it in the work folder. I wasn't paying attention. That's the problem. You've got to find out where you put it. Oh, here it is. I put it here. So here's a folder called Build a Die-Line folder. In the Die-Line folder, it copies the fonts that we used. It has instructions on how it's printed. It copies the link that we used, and it duplicates the InDesign file. Okay? You need to package your files, so when you take them anywhere, you have all your updated links. So back to your menu here. You see that little red question mark there?
Yeah.
That's because it's missing the link. You must have created that logo in Illustrator or something?
Photoshop.
In Photoshop, okay. And you can see in the links panel it's missing, which I assume is on your computer. So when you bring something over, you gotta package it and then download the whole folder and it'll be current. Okay, so finish telling us about your menu then.
So, the back, as I said, like the back of this would be like some sort of artwork specific to whatever, and this is kind of what I had put out. There'd be kind of like a logo, which is like pretty rough right now. I'd have to work that out, and then I kind of like this layout for the how to look at the sushi because it's all just right there. And I mean, I'd change around the nigiri a little bit, and then like of course like the fonts and stuff like that would all be changed and make it a little bit easier to like see what's in it and that kind of stuff. This is just kind of like to get it on like visually, and then yeah, that's pretty much all I have for that.
Okay, and InDesign's new to you, right?
Yeah, I used to work in Illustrator when I did my
Illustrator.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk about your yacht and let's talk about yacht sushi. So is the yacht, anybody have questions? That's, Bridget has a really clever idea. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to let you guys do the talking here. So I'll just call on you. So Brittany always has good ideas. She'll ask you some questions about your menu to help you think it through. So do you have questions about the restaurant and the menu and so forth?
So is it just gonna be all sushi, or are you gonna have other like Japanese inspired?
I mean, I could. There's not really that much room on the menu to like add that. It's pretty much all you can eat sushi. That's like the main goal of the place.
Well, because I'm doing all you can eat sushi too, so.
Are you?
Yeah. So I was gonna say, are you gonna have for that like, is it just all you can eat, or can you go like order just like rolls, like, you know what I mean? Like if I just wanted like, oh, I'm gonna sit down and order 2 rolls, like.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely put. They always put prices next to them. They always have that at all you can eat places. So I mean, I'll have like next to all you can eat up there. I was gonna have like the dinner and the lunch price.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of gonna switch up the names first off of the like the main rolls. I'm gonna switch it from the Maraki rolls because that's what it was from whatever place I got it from, and that's gonna be different. Then I'm gonna add some like dinner rolls below that. So I'm kind of gonna like split up from like these two right there.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna add like a dinner roll kind of area down there, so there's like more variety and stuff like that. And there's gonna be like dinner and lunch. So
Can I just throw it out there that I feel like eating on a yacht and sushi, it's very high end and it's fancy, you could take a date there or something. But then when the very first thing, the largest text says all you can eat, it just feels more like you're at Sizzler, not
Yeah.
it's more like, oh, it's versus
No, I
just
feel you.
like, oh, the yacht's so fancy, we're on yacht, really great. Hey, by the way, it's all you can eat.
yeah, I'll definitely
So
put that
just-
like below this because I want to put the story like some random story behind the yacht or something like that. I'll put like the all you can eat like make sure it's below that. And just like the price, maybe pricing, just like the price for this or the price for that, like dinner and lunch, and just put those. Don't even put all you can eat.
How would people hear about it? Like, would it be word of mouth, or would people just wander over and?
I don't know. See, in Reno, it's like people just you just go try the new place that opens or whatever. It's just like all you can eat sushi. You just go to it. I don't know. I haven't really seen sushi advertisement too much.
What about like reservation only, or no, just walk off the street?
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, there are definitely reservations because like the places get packed. So I mean, you can do that definitely, but it's kind of walk in. But you can make reservations if you want to.
Maybe you could find some way to tie in the art, like somehow the art theme of like the canvas, drawing on it, because you have a very artsy logo that's very cool and like 50s Frank Sinatra kind of looking. And I think it's also the bold red is kind of artsy too. So maybe if there was something about the menu, the actual written menu part that was like sort of artsy in a way, like.
Oh, how do you mean?
I don't know, like either a little story about how what the menu should be used for, kind of thing.
Yeah,
or
like maybe kind of a story behind like the yacht and why what art to be.
Yeah, why the art's related to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel you.
It would be cool to like kind of combine fishing, since like a yacht, you're using the fish that you
Yeah.
fish from wherever you went to,
Yeah, I feel
and
you.
use those products that you fish from to your menu.
Yeah.
Cool.
Kind of like
And
they bring it, or like they fish
yeah,
it and
like
then bring
fresh
it there.
fish.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I feel you. That'll be
Do you
tight.
feel like you're using just a face of a fish, right?
I'm using a what?
Just
Yeah,
Single
one-sided.
face.
Yeah.
I'm gonna step in here, all of your ideas are fantastic. The requirements for this menu though, is that it's an 8-page publication. Did you guys all read that? And it's, so just having 2 pages, which is what you've designed, you've
Yeah.
designed one-sided menu and the other side, which is a second side, which would make it a second page, is not adequate to meet the criteria for the assignment. If you are doing something like, something elaborate where, Caroline talked about, had a card that opened up like that and had all those elements and it's a pop-up card and it's die lines and it's different sizes and so forth, that's complex. If it's complex, then there's a level of forgiveness to this 8-page requirement. If it's just an 8-page menu, meaning if you're creating a book or you're creating a menu, you need to have 8 pages to it. That's the criteria. So I know that you probably just didn't read through it carefully enough. So I did say that you're totally open-ended in your menu design, like the world's the limit. I said you could create a menu design that was, a blackboard or chalkboard or something like that. Because I wanted to open your ideas, expand your ideas, but if you're creating a menu where it's type, like the one, if you hold up the one, the sample one that Crystal Lee printed out right beside you on the left, right there, on your left, Curtis?
This one?
Yeah, hold it up. So that one is a menu cover that has a pocket if you open it up. It has a pocket that you slip the menu pages into it. That would be definitely meeting the criteria of an 8-page menu. You all follow that? So in terms of a 2-sided menu, you'd need a lot of bells and whistles to that 1-page menu in
Yeah.
order to meet the criteria. I don't want you to just be setting type for it. Okay?
No, I know. I got
Okay.
you. What would you think? What could I add to?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts, and you're getting really good feedback from everybody in class. Crystal might have a comment too, so we can help you.
I think it would be really easy to turn all that you have into 2 pages, because there's a lot of information on that page.
Yeah.
And something cool that I just thought of, the all-you-can-eat sushi place that I go to back home, it's like a piece of paper, and you check off what you want.
Yeah.
And if you have like a 2-page book sort of thing, you could have like a rip-out thing, you kind of take out, check off, give it to the waiter. That would be kind of cool. And then like other items on the other pages that you don't need to.
Yeah. Take off.
And then if you
Yeah.
open it, you have like a giant piece of art on the front and back covers.
Yeah, I could do that too. Kind of make it like foldable,
Yeah.
like 2 pieces on it maybe as opposed to just one. Would that work if I were to do like maybe like 2 canvases that close to become making like one big piece?
Well, the idea is I want you to stretch yourself. I want you to start thinking of a lot of things. There's, you're talking about sushi. In LA, there was a period, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, where they had, you'd go to a sushi bar, and the sushi bar was shaped like the bow of a ship, and it was like conveyor belt sushi. So you'd sit at the sushi bar, there'd be a conveyor belt, you know what I mean? A conveyor belt, everybody understands what that is? And so they would put your sushi on a boat made out of wood. You know how you go to a sushi restaurant and they have a plank of wood? Well, they had boats of wood, so it's a block shaped like a boat. Nobody's heard of this, no?
Yeah, they have, those still exist.
They still exist?
Yeah.
Okay, there was a little mast sticking up, little sail, and they put the pieces of sushi on it, and it's kind of like we had that conversation about dim sum the other day, where each plate you collect is the same price. So each boat of sushi was the same price, and it would sail around the bar until it came in front of you, and you'd take your boat off and you'd have your sushi. And then, so that's an idea. You know, you've created this theme. You actually, when you described your restaurant, Curtis, you described something super cool. Like, I wondered if it was a sushi cruise. Like you said, we get on a boat, we go out. I picture this, like Kim said, you get on this boat, which is very elegant. And it's a gimmick, truthfully. I went in New York, there was a restaurant, and it was on a boat, and it was still tethered into the harbor. It was a famous restaurant. It was in the movie When Harry Met Sally. Nobody knows this, right? Anyway, I was counting on you, Crystal Lee. for
I
that
know
one.
the movie.
You know the movie? Do you know the name of the restaurant?
No, I have no idea.
Okay. And you sit there and you're in the interior of a boat, which is very elegant. You've got the dancing lights on the water. It's very romantic in the evening. And it's really quite elegant and beautiful. And so you've created that picture for us, Curtis. You have. That's immediately, I think you get on a boat, and I'm either thinking you're doing fish and chips and beer kind of thing, or sushi and beer, and it's real casual and real fun and real just run in the catch of the day, like Alessandro was saying. Create this connection to the fish and the boat and the fishermen and the freshness, right? Wasn't that what you were saying? Yeah. And I don't perceive that up here. What would help us perceive it would be using, you were saying, using the icons of the fishing industry, like fishing line or fishing rope, or use these icons to make us think of fresh fish, yeah? And you know, Kim made a really strong comment for you that you're right. You either have to go all you can eat because you're going there for the beer and you're going to shovel sushi down, or you're going to be really elegant. And the fact that it's all you can eat really has a different word for it, which means price fix. Price fix is, and it's French, right? And what it really means is you're paying a lot of money to eat one piece or 50 pieces, and they're hoping that they're going to get more appetites than eat one piece, or whatever. And so you get to decide what your theme is, but it's the same message. You've got a lot of content there right now for your pages. You really do. You have a lot of text. And I'm going to ask you to save that menu on the desktop because I'm going to work with your graphic files for it to help you with it. But you have a really huge menu. So if you made it a smaller scale, you'd have multiple pages in your publication. Because this is a publication design class, we're aiming for more publications, which is booklets, books of pages.
If I was to do like different pages of like, so like all the menus would be all on one plane almost, you know, but different pages. You see what I'm saying?
So if you found it out,
If I was to like make like maybe like the dinner on one little page and then like the dessert and like vice versa, but it was all like right in front of you.
yeah,
'Cause that's kind of what I like about the all you right in front of you with all
you
you
really
can eat.
like having it all in front of you. So
Yeah,
let me
because
make
it's really a
suggestion.
pain just to like go through.
What would happen if you took that menu you have in front of you and you rotated it and it was wide, not tall, and you made panels and you fan folded it, and then you could open it up and it's all in front of you, and you can accordion fold it back?
Oh yeah,
Would that work for you?
yeah.
Does that meet your criteria? It meets my criteria.
Yeah.
1 page, 2 page, 3 page, 4 page, 5, 6, 7, right? And actually, you only need 4 panels because each panel has a backside that makes 8 pages. You follow that?
Kind of, yeah.
So if I take, let's say it's bigger, it's the scale of your menu, and you like having everything in front of you, there's all kinds of ways to do that. You can accordion fold it like that, right? You can gate fold it like that. So if you have your canvas artwork on the outside, here's your canvas here, here's your canvas artwork, right? Canvas artwork. Even canvas artwork here, which is on the entire back side, but you want each panel of it to look good on its own, right? But then on the inside, you've got 4 panels. You have appetizers, you have nigiri, you have rolls, you have drinks.
Yeah.
And that meets the criteria because there's 8 pages to this. Each panel's a page.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be bound necessarily, but you're planning out the 8 pages.
Oh yeah.
So that's an option.
Yeah. Definitely, I like that.
So consider carrying it further. And then you had some good feedback from, I think it was Kim or Crystal Lee, I don't remember. But of using this color palette of your logo, it was Crystal Lee. Use the color palette of your logo, which is very graphic and strong, and start to embellish the way you handle type using that graphic. And you found a cool font. Is that a font or you drew it?
I drew it. I haven't finished it yet. So
Nice. Well, you have a really nice concept. I want you to flesh out the restaurant experience more.
okay.
So carry that a little further. You've got good feedback here.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. Will you save your InDesign file on the desktop? Please?
I think it's
Just
in
go
the.
to File, Save As, and then locate the desktop, and there it's there, and then just save it.
Did she want me to save it as this? Is that cool?
Yeah, it's fine. Just click Save. Beautiful. Okay, thanks, Curtis. So, Brittany, do you want to do it since you're the follow-up to sushi? We'll just sushi out. Thank you, that's good. Okay, Brittany, you're happy being recorded. Say that.
I'm very happy being recorded.
Okay, good.
Alright, for my menu, I'm using Sushimon Japanese Cuisine, which is located in Nevada, Vegas actually, and is one of my favorite sushi places I've been to, and it does have an all-you-can-eat menu as well. So I decided, well, I went there and I was actually really surprised seeing like their menu compared to like the food that they were serving was just like didn't match. So I just decided to make a new one for that.
How did it not match?
It's just like, I don't know, it looked really like cheesy and it was a lot of text kind of like all bunched together, and they had like a separate like all you could eat menu, which actually I have pictures, so so this was their menu. I just didn't like it at all. So you can see like the graphics of like right here, and then like this was their like little all you could eat, which I like the concept, which I'm gonna keep, but like do better illustrations. And I didn't really like how their logo was kind of like all over like first, second, third, I don't know.
Makes you a little dizzy.
Yeah, it was just, and then when the food came out, I was just really surprised. It was like really great, like fresh, some of my favorite sushi I've ever had for
So
sure.
is that a fake hand holding the menu?
Oh no, that's
Oh,
somebody.
it's a real hand.
Yeah, I
didn't
just
see
sto-
the end of the picture and I thought,
Yeah,
"Maybe
that's
the
just on the
mannequin
table.
holding it."
Yeah. No. Those I just found these pictures from like Yelp reviews and stuff, from the menus. So this is their like all you could eat menu, which is pretty much the same. They had like a separate menu which they serve like, you know, fried rice, like the dishes and stuff, which was okay, but I feel like I'm gonna keep the concept of having a separate all-you-could-eat menu. Not as big though; it was really huge, and how you said I wanted to have like where you could check off and like hand it to your waiter, which was I was gonna make that as well. I have like some. I really like the binding on this book, and I do want to keep it. Well, I have a book over there, this size. I'll just grab it. So I want the regular menu to be about this size, and then have the all you can eat and the other ones separate from this, but also like including the rolls in here, just maybe with the details. I haven't really decided if I want the details of the special rolls on here or on the other menu. So what else do I have? I do want to include, I kind of wanted to stick to like having the theme just be like mainly a black book, having some of the illustrations that I'm gonna like hand make, kind of like lower opacity in the back, not so bright. This book I really like. They had like a good example of that. I don't know if you guys want to look at it, pass it around, but just kind of having like the side and the background have like the first page, like the opening, so when you first open it here, to kind of be blank and have like some really nice illustrations on it. What else? The color palette, I kind of like chose these, but going back over it, I decided I wanted to have like a brighter color, like an orange or something for the logo. And here's some fonts I chose. Still kind of last details on the fonts though.
We did talk about in the class that your logo doesn't have to be tight.
Oh yeah, no, I know. Yeah. But I just mean for probably like I'll choose a nice font for just like where it says like sushi and then have the other ones in like a plainer
Right.
font.
That's just addressed to everybody,
Oh,
just
okay.
so you all know.
Also for the where you like turn in the menu or like the little paper you would kind of mark off for which sushi you want, I'm gonna have like a little area so kind of like decide like if it's gonna be all you can eat or you could still use that for the regular menu as well, if you decide not to do that. And then what I really liked about their restaurant is they had like little all you could eat like rule things saying like eat little by little, like you could do half orders, whatever you don't eat you like pay for type of thing. So I kind of do want to continue to include that in, and they have like, oh, if like someone at the table isn't paying for the all you could eat, like make sure not to share and stuff like that. So do want to include that still. I might add for that though, because I do want it to kind of be a little more like high end. I mean, I know all you could eat sushi kind of makes it a little less, but maybe for that having like times, like for lunch times where you could come in for all you can eat or for dinner as well. I haven't decided yet though. That's kind of it.
And have you decided what your menu is going to look like? Did you make a rough of it yet, or no?
I think I did. I don't know if I brought it in.
Did you upload a rough?
Oh yeah, I uploaded a rough. I don't know.
So you could log into Moodle.
Yeah. They're really bad though, so I don't really want to show it on the film.
You're going to improve it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I don't want to, since I'm being recorded.
But yeah.
Yeah. So
I know,
I'll
maybe
save that
we
one
do.
for later.
Okay.
But I want to kind of keep it really easy to read. I don't want there to be a lot of pages to have to flip through, but I still like the idea of having like the booklets too, for like if you're not going to do all you could eat or like during that time to still have everything kind of written out.
So, do people have questions about, Rangel, do you have questions for Brittany about what the environment of the restaurant might be like, or do you have a feel for it?
What's the clientele?
like any sushi lover, this one, the one I went to, was located in Vegas, kind of off the strip. So there wasn't. It was a. Who recommended it to me was like a local there, and he says like this is like one of the best ones. We were actually at the M Resort. I don't know if you heard like the big M Hotel in Vegas. We went there, and they have an all-you-could-eat sushi, but there's like a 2-hour wait. So he recommended this one, which he said was even better than that. And I walked in, and I was really surprised. It was just kind of like a little hole in the wall, but really, really good sushi. And the menu was a lot. They had a lot of options. So for their like all-you-can-eat menu, you could also include like dessert. They include like teriyaki chicken. It's all part of the all-you-can-eat menu, which was surprising too. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna add that, but
So is your place a hole in the wall?
no.
It won't be a hole in the wall.
No, not. It's not gonna be like you have to make a reservation, but I definitely want it to still be a little more high end. So.
Yes, I have a question, but someone's been like trying to call you for a while here.
Okay, it's okay.
I just wanted
Thank
to
you.
Okay,
Thank
Um,
you.
you're having two separate menus.
Mm.
Is the all-you-can-eat menu going to be like small enough to fit inside the booklet, or is it just going to be completely separate?
I was thinking completely separate.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking completely separate from the menu.
So they're just
And then,
sorted
so like
out.
maybe the all-you-can-eat menu, because I just want it to kind of be like front and back for that one. Because it's just mainly just going to be like the rolls, maybe like a couple dessert items. And then like the back, I haven't decided if that's where like the rolls were going to be. But I kind of like wanted it to like be on like a little stand like on the table so that they could just kind of like pick it up like if they decide to do that. Yeah, so it's not like, oh, you have to like get handed it separately, but that was like part of it. So.
Was it you? I don't remember who said this, but, and this was a talk, I think Crystal was you, Sam, talking about Curtis's menu, with the idea of having a pad of tear-offs for the all-you-can-eat.
Yeah.
So, have any of you seen those folders that also have a slit at the top where you put something that is a pad that has a rubber, you know, when you have pads, it has rubber on top to make it stick together, rubber
yeah.
glue, and then it has chipboard, cardboard on the back to make this pad stiff. And you could take that chipboard and put it in a slit. So if you had a book or a cover and it had a slit here, you can put the cardboard here so the pad sits there and you can open and close the cover. That's what you were talking about, wasn't it?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Do you all follow that?
Mhm.
That's a possibility to add to any of your menus if you have a tear off and fill out the form
Yeah.
kind of thing.
That's a good idea.
Well, it wasn't my idea.
That's a good
They
idea.
make, you know, like if you go to an office supply store, you'll see folders that hold legal pads,
Mhm.
and it's got a cover on it to protect the pages of the legal pad, and then you pull the legal pad out and put a new one in. And the good part about that is it's really economical for a restaurant. Expensive to make the cover, economical to put the pages in, you know, if you're having a tear-off menu. When I go to sushi restaurants and they put this little scrap of paper on the table, it doesn't feel elegant.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel well planned. Or if it's in a glass on the table, it doesn't feel well planned necessarily with pencils. I feel like I'm at miniature golf.
Yeah,
where you take a
exactly.
little thing and a little pencil.
Yeah.
So just, it was a suggestion thrown out there to anybody who's got something they might want to fill out.
I was also thinking of having, I'm not sure if it would be part of like that menu or drink menu, but having something, since it's located in Vegas, like a fan type of thing, but a little more elegant than just like some.
That sounds super cool. Could
Yeah.
you imagine going to a Japanese restaurant and opening your fan and that's your menu?
Yeah.
You know, one of the things you think about with a Japanese restaurant is what do you associate with Japanese culture? You associate rice paper screens, they're incredibly durable. You associate black lacquer trays and bento boxes with little compartments, right? So think of the things that you associate with that culture and how that might be authentic to the style. You picked black and red, which is a Japanese set of colors for you. So think about that as you start, you know, it doesn't mean you have to stick to it. That might be stereotypic, you know, orange might be the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And totally step out of it, but.
Yeah, I feel like once I have it on the computer, then I'm really gonna be able to choose the colors, but I know I'm gonna change it, so
Yeah,
I know I'm gonna change
I
it.
can't emphasize enough to make physical mock-ups of
Yeah.
these before you guys start. So, more questions for Brittany for hers? That was great. That's great. Thank you. So who'd like to go next? Who hasn't gone yet? No matter where you're at. Yeah, Crystal, you go ahead.
I have to go into my email. Is that okay?
You can pause the video if you don't want to do all.
Okay, so I already showed you guys the design brief. It was for the tea house. Oh, it's backwards. Okay. Now I can. So what I wanted to do is an envelope invitation is what I decided on. I actually had a mock-up of a fan. Weirdly enough, we were just talking about that, but it was like more of an elegant kind of old-fashioned fan. But I decided to go with the envelope because I feel like it wouldn't be damaged as easily, and it would be, I don't know, I just think it's neat to get an invitation to a restaurant that you're already at. So this would be the front of the envelope, and I haven't done the back because I know I have to do some crazy die cut thing, and I don't know what to do for that yet.
You can
So I'll need help.
decide the size of your envelope, and you could also Google around for envelope templates. Your
Okay.
envelope might end up being what's called an A10, which is large. And you could go to Google A10 envelope template, and they'll give you a die line for it.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to create it yourself. So do it right now while we're talking about it so everybody understands what you do. So if you just Google A10 die line template, try that. And envelope die lines, Nina Paper. Nina Paper has an envelope die line for each of those sizes right there, and they tell you the sizes. And you download it as a PDF file, which can be opened in Illustrator, or an EPS file, which can be opened in Illustrator. You've done them, right? Because you took my class, right? And it's magic. There's no reason to make up your own. What you want to start with, actually, if these are similar sizes, is download one of these similar sizes, and then if you wish to customize it, start with some things already started for you.
Okay.
It's very helpful. So, that
Okay.
easy. Okay.
All right, so so it's going to be little cards, individual cards that go into the envelope, which might be really thick actually, so I don't know how that'll work with the envelope, but I'll have to figure that out.
Well, you can make a capacity envelope.
Yeah.
A capacity envelope means that you give an extra, like 1/8 of an inch or whatever depth you need, so it has an extra score
Yes.
to make it have depth to it.
Okay.
And I have one in the other room if you want to be able to see one.
Okay. So this is the cover. I don't know how you can. Oh, here. Or not the cover. The first page. The first card that comes out of the envelope. And it is just like a cover page with the logo, and the steep from our family tree is the what do you call that?
It's your
Catchphrase,
tagline.
motto, tagline. And so this is the tea selection part. This is the next page, and then it goes.
Wait, hang on. This light gold we're looking at, is it cream or gold or?
The actual page is cream colored
And the type that's in script, that's.
in the back.
No, that names the tea, the blend of tea. What color
Oh,
is
that's
that?
gold.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is it readable up to you?
it is.
Turn around.
Oh, it's way dark. It's way darker on
Okay.
here.
All right.
Way darker. But anyway, I wanted the font to be. I want it to be letterpressed for sure. possibly bigger now when I see that, but here it looks totally normal. I haven't printed it yet, so it might be different when I print it. But anyway, what I ran into, my problem with this, is that I did this whole menu this way. I made it look, I modeled it after sort of what I've seen invitation-wise, like what formal invitations come like they're very like centered, or if there's more than one column, it's sort of like that, like both columns are centered. But anyway, I think it's boring. It's just very simple and plain, and I like the idea of it, and I like the colors, but I just think it's kind of boring. And so I want to have feedback on how to make it more interesting, but still be sort of classy and elegant and look like old-fashioned, like it does.
Okay, can we go to your first page, please? So, let's start, let's start with the logo. Are you set on your logo?
No, and I have other logos. I did them.
Okay.
I can show them.
So
'cause
let's
they're-
talk, so you're the first one to actually show us something very developed.
Yeah.
So, who's got some feedback? Caroline, you got some feedback.
Have you thought about maybe having some kind of frames to have in the menu?
Oh, that would be nice.
Some elegant, delicate frames.
Yeah, like swirls or something like that.
Yeah.
That would look nice.
Have you ever seen laser cutout cards that look like lace? Like doilies?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yes.
This is high tea, where you sit with napkins in your lap.
Yeah.
Your gloves.
Yeah.
Maybe there's die cut that could make this, instead of even printing the frame. I mean, Caroline's idea is a really great idea. Instead of printing it, maybe you could die cut out the frame so the edges might feel lacy,
Oh, that'd be cool.
right? And because it comes in an envelope, it'll be protected, right? Or even the edge of the envelope could be cut in a more genteel kind of way.
Yeah.
So, you know, something to think about. More thoughts? Heidi, you got some thoughts? The fonts look high.
Can I give a comment?
Yeah.
Can you go back to the logo?
Yeah.
I really love the colors you have, and if that's actual gold and not just like, you know.
Yeah, I wanted it
bronze
to be
and-
like a gold. I didn't know how to do that, but I was thinking a gold
Yeah.
font or a gold ink would be nice.
Then that would look beautiful. The one thing that just kind of bothers me is I feel like the high and the T don't belong together. It's almost like, I almost feel like the name High Tea with just, not TEA, just a T, seems kind of modern to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, oh, high tea, but then this is like, oh, classy. And the high kind of looks vintage, so it's sort of ragged on the edges, but then the T is very crisp. And I wonder if they could look more like Friends if both of them were ragged or both of them were crisp.
That's a good point.
So I don't know, it's almost there, but I love the colors.
These are my other logos, but maybe they're. Oh, that's not it. The most cowbell is it? Okay. It is. That was another idea I had for a logo because it doesn't look centered there. But anyways, because I put the T for the handle and then the high in there. I don't know whether that's obvious or not though, but maybe it is. Maybe I could change the color of it or something.
It's obvious you could take it, you could mask the T and it would still be a T. You don't need the curl of the T on the front of the cup.
Oh yeah.
Are you agreeing?
Yes.
So you can let it be a handle, which was obvious to everybody, I think, and clever too. But it would be more cohesive if you masked the part that's overlapping the face of the cup, maybe.
Okay.
You could try it.
Yeah, and I thought the other thing would be like stamping that in like a gold ink would make it stand out too,
Yeah, I was
or
just
something
gonna
like
say,
that. That would look.
Now,
kinda
do you know
fun.
how to make that as a prototype? So when you have your portfolio, your gold is gold.
Yeah, you make don't you make a Pantone ink and you call it something different? Or is it not Pantone?
That's how you do it digitally, but do you know how you'll physically make it in your prototype
No.
mock-up to photograph? There's a couple ways to do it. You can go to that store. So if you want to do something that's a foil, or a color foil, or a silver, or something like that, I'd probably go to Art Essentials, which is the only art store I know in town here that has interesting papers. And basically, you'd set it up just like you said. You'd make that gold foil Pantone color, and it would print the gold or whatever. But to make it really look beautiful, so you really have shiny gold that communicates that, and you have a physical book that shows it. In the olden days, I would have to put glue over the area that I wanted that foil. Has anybody ever dealt with gold leaf? Gold leaf is tissuey, right? It just comes right off. Like if it sticks to your fingers, it crumbles. But if you put a little bit of tacky, like spray mount with the edge of a toothpick on top of your letter, and then you put the foil down and you let it dry, then you can take an X-Acto blade and cut around it and peel, remove the rest. It's very tedious, but it would look foily. And you're precise like that. You do that all the time. It's your job.
Yeah.
You're used to it, so you could do something like that.
Okay.
John, were you going to add to that?
I used to lay gold leaf.
You used to lay gold leaf. Yeah. Did I describe that well?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Thank you.
The other ones were just, I don't like the third one, so I'm going to show it to you.
Well, show us your reject ideas anyway.
Well, you can't, you're going to tell because it doesn't even show up, but it was just like, it's just like the H had the interlocking T was the ending of the H, and it was just the two letters, and it was just sort of like a monogram thing. But I don't know, I don't like it. I don't
What
like it
does
as
the
much.
tree have to do with your high tea?
Okay, because the motto is steeped from our family tree.
Oh, there you go.
So I thought that that kind of tied that in. I also put it up there on the top of the cap.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
So I don't know. I think I like the cup the best.
I actually wonder if the cup without the T, just the normal cup and without the word high on it, but the word steeped from our family tree in the rim of your cup,
Mm-hmm.
and then a logo type with this might be nice too. Might be worth trying. So the cup doesn't have to have all the words on it, because I feel like if you scale this down, make it smaller,
Yeah.
which is really the size that it's going to be, so make it down to like what you perceive an inch to be. You can't really see the high or the T, but you can see the cup.
Yeah.
So I wonder if I don't know. It's also a teacup. I wonder if you just said hi and had the teacup. What?
I really like the monochrome, also like the H and the T.
Oh, you like her first logo?
Yeah, no, like the last one where you use
Oh, the monogram one.
H and the T. You can use it in the cap as well.
Oh, just by using a monogram on the cup is what you're saying,
Oh, I see.
and then have high T be the logo type or something.
That makes sense.
You know, then you could monogram your napkins and everything too. It'd be really pretty.
Yeah. Some shirts.
Yeah.
The other thing is when you make your prototypes, if you don't, you look dubious about that foiling business. The other thing is you can, in Photoshop, once you've taken your photo, try to make it look foiled, which is very hard. It's actually
Yeah.
not as hard as you think though. Like you could find a foil image with weird light on it
Mm-hmm.
and create a mask and put it on your letter, and
It would probably take me less time to just do it.
it would
with
take you far less time. Wouldn't be as much fun, but it would take you less time. Let's go back to your menu, which you felt was traditional and maybe needed help.
Yeah.
This class needs to be like 8 hours long. I know you guys would get tired, but we serve each other our food and we'd be happy.
Also, can you even tell that there's a thing behind there? You can't.
No, not on our screen.
So on my actual menu, it has that swirl from the HT. It's like all behind here. This whole thing has a giant thing behind there. and all the pages have a script letter behind them.
Open your laptop lid. We saw it really easily on your laptop lid, to be honest with you. Or at least I was looking over your shoulder and saw it on your laptop lid. I admit. There. See?
Oh. So that's what that looks like. And then the title, like the envelope, has that. So that there is some.
Tilt it back and forth, because, yeah.
Now can you
right
see
there.
it? Okay.
So it's kind of rococo looking.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly sort of what I'm looking for. See, and they all have different, like the letter of whatever. That's an H for history, I think, or something. But each page has something to, like the letter behind it of what it has to do with.
And it looks like you made your letters bleed off the edge of the page.
Yeah,
Good.
they do.
If you do a ghosted back something, everybody, when they see it on their computer screen, makes it at 20%, 30%, 50%. When you print it, like really print it, and you want it really whispery, when I print something that's ghosted, it's like 5% opacity or 7. What we print on these digital printers here always beefs up the ink also. So you gotta find that perfect balance.
This is 10%. So you can't see it there, but
Well, that's the projector display, which burns out everything.
when it
So-
prints, I just know it's not going to be readable on
Well,
this
what
side.
happens to everybody when they print their prototypes is they do a trial page first, because you print the prototype and you print the whole thing, and then you find it screaming at you with error, or you can't see it. So try one where it's important first.
Yeah.
You know, your scripty type, like this, embellished type, usually if you set it at a point size that you're accustomed to it being readable, it always appears much smaller when it's printed. So I always find 12-point type to be super large personally, but when you use wedding script like this, like that will feel like 8-point type. It takes it down a ton. So, and then keep in mind, if those of you who aren't familiar with type point sizes, menu point size on type, I mean, did I say that right? You know what I'm saying. 8-point type is perfectly large enough for descriptions of items, and 10-point type or 11-point type would be significantly large for the name of an item, unless you're using some kind of funky font. So keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to go very small. The proportions for me when I look at the name of your blended tea and then the description,